The last time I checked, we live in a democratic society. At least in theory we do, right? And in a democratic society, the majority rules. Now, in a multi-ethnic, multiracial country like the United States of America, if you want to maintain any sense of political control of the goings on in your community, then you need to have the numbers to do so population-wise. Because if you don't have that, the destiny of your community, politically at least, is in the hands of all of those who are not of your community. This is something that the political elite class of white America has understood very well now for the past century. As you all know, the Italians, the Irish, and Jewish people were not always considered white. White meaning Anglo-Saxon, or to put it a little more simply, of British ancestry. But over time, they were adopted into whiteness. Many books have been written about this history, books that you can read like How the Irish Became White, or Working Towards Whiteness, How America's Immigrants Became White, and another book would be How Jews Became White Folks and what that says about race in America. And for what it's worth, because I know a lot of people do still care about this kind of stuff, for what it's worth, these books were written by white authors. Like I said, I know for some people, they care about that. So there you go. But understand, it's not just the political elite class of white America that understands this, because the political elite class of the Hispanic community understands this as well. Look at the AOCs of their community. They are all for open borders. Every month, undocumented migrants are entering into the United States from the southern border by the hundreds of thousands. AOC and many like her are all for it. Their mindset is, let them all in and we'll figure the rest out later. Now, mind you, she doesn't necessarily care about the well-being of these people the same way that Biden or Trump doesn't really care about the well-being of most white Americans. It's simply a political move because they understand that people naturally gravitate towards their own. And to be quite honest with you, there is no other group that truly understands this as well as the LGBTQIA plus community. I have to hand it to them because the way that they've been able to continuously bolster up their numbers, in my opinion, is rather brilliant. They went from LGBT to LGBTQ to LGBTQIA plus. Adding the plus at the end of their acronym was sheer genius because that plus represents an infinite amount of possibilities concerning those who seek to be a member of their community. You see, everybody understands this except for the political elite class of the black community. Amongst all members of the political elite class within their respective communities, the political elite of the black community is by far the most compromised group of them all. So much so that they have been able to thoroughly brainwash the greater black community into accepting some of the most destructive teachings of white liberal ideology, primarily that of abortion. Now, don't get me wrong. Under certain circumstances, I am 100% for abortion. If a pregnancy is going to put a woman's life in danger, I completely understand. And if we're talking about certain levels of abuse, once again, I completely understand. But here's the thing. What the data actually shows is that the grossly overwhelming number of abortions are due to simply being irresponsible. Now, if you want to research this for yourself, I'll leave the links to these two articles that you see on your screen here in the description box below. But I repeat, the data shows that the grossly overwhelming number of abortions are due to irresponsibility. And this is what the political elites in the black community keeps pushing on to us. Listen to this. Nearly 40% of all abortions in America since Roe versus Wade have been by black Americans. This equates to more than 20 million black pregnancies aborted, the equivalent to the population of either New York or Florida. Yet black people make up just 14% of the US. White people account for 35% of all abortions as the majority population in the country. Okay, so there are 236 million white Americans versus 42 million black Americans, and you are out aborting them. Really let that sink in. In America's largest city, a black baby is more likely to be aborted than born alive each year. According to the New York City Health Department, between 2012 and 2016, black mothers terminated 136,426 pregnancies. At the same time, black mothers gave birth to 118,127 babies. In New York, there were more terminated black pregnancies than births. Brothers and sisters, that is indefensible. This is madness. We are destroying our own population. And as I've stated on this channel many times before, by 2065, Black Americans will be fourth on the population list. And as the great Dr. Claude Anderson said many decades ago, if you weren't able to attain any tangible political gains when you were number 2 on the population list, I don't know what you think you'll be able to attain when you're number 4. Now, when Dr. Claude Anderson originally spoke on this, he was talking about the effects of immigration on the Black community. But now in 2022, in between abortion and immigration, Black America is finished. Yet this is what our political elite class in the Black community are pushing on us to get behind and support. They are literally selling us on our own destruction, and we're buying it. And as the world turns and the old guards within the political elite are aging out, there's already a fresh new crop that have sprung up behind them to take their place. Cori Bush, Jamal Bowman, Ayanna Presley, concerning political activism, replacing people like Reverend Al Sharpton as Tamika Mallory, who was groomed by Sharpton. And most importantly, on the media side, the largest political platform that speaks to Black America is the Breakfast Club, for crying out loud. And that is truly sad. Really, the Breakfast Club? But it is unfortunately true. When politicians want to get elected, they don't go visit and sit down with Joy Reid or Roland Martin. They go to see Charlamagne on the Breakfast Club. Their main objective is to continue misguiding Black America into oblivion, just as the previous generation has done before them, keeping you blindly voting blue no matter who. Now, when you're done with this video, take a moment to go listen to Charlamagne tap dance for the Democratic Party as he sells you on supporting abortion. In that same video, he's giving you all of the standard Democratic Party talking points on what Joe Biden has to do to save democracy. He's talking about how we got to prosecute everybody involved in the January 6th insurrection to make sure that this never happens on American soil again. We have to protect voting rights. We got to get rid of the filibuster, and we got to expand the Supreme Court. This is how we protect our democracy. Listen, by 2053, the median net worth of Black America will be 0. And by 2065, you will be 4th on the population list. What good is democracy when you've become an invisible people? Black Americans have been blindly voting blue no matter who since 1964. And look at where that's gotten you. Democracy has yet to work for you. Yet Charlamagne got Black folks voting for their own destruction. While at the same time, in the very same video, he's holding up the Republicans as if they're going to put you back into slavery, while simultaneously holding up Jim Clyburn as if he is some sort of prophet. This man is congressman of the most impoverished district in South Carolina, which is the 6th district. And might I add, that district is also the blackest one as well. The Jim Clyburns and Reverend Al Sharptons of the previous generation led our people into complete and utter destruction. And now Charlamagne, alongside with the Tamika Mallories of the world, are carrying on with that tradition to continue walking us down the path of destruction. Let me read this Instagram post off of Tamika Mallory's page just so you can see how wicked these people are. Look at how they try to tie in voting rights, because apparently voting rights is supposed to be a Black issue, but look at how they try to tie in voting rights with abortion just to make sure you get out there and vote for your own destruction. It's not an accident that the 24 states expected to restrict abortion rights after Roe v. Wade is gutted are the same 24 states restricting voting rights since the gutting of the Voting Rights Act. Who needs a time travel machine when crossing state lines can take you back 50 years? Tamika Mallory then responds in her post, "We've been in code red. This is yet another example of how serious the situation really is. I'm hoping folks are getting pumped up to get back out in the street and start raising hell in more ways than one. Too many are too quiet. We need to turn up on everybody. Republicans, Democrats, and corporations who support this BS. The whole country should be up. Let's go." Look at how manipulative they are. They have sold out their entire community for their own personal gain so that they may have a comfortable position within this illegitimate system of injustice. The only difference between them and the former generation is that by the time Charlamagne and Tamika Mallory get done, there will be no reversing the damage and there will be no softening of the blow. You never overcame and you never rose up above. You simply lost. And in about 3 to 4 decades, the black community will be no more. Now, I hate to end this video on such a somber note, but I need you to understand the seriousness of what's lying ahead of you. I could sit up here and sell you on a bunch of BS to make you feel better by saying stuff like, this country has been trying to destroy us for centuries, and we have always survived and overcame the odds. We are a sleeping giant, brother, and we will survive this too. Okay, I mean, technically you're right. You will technically survive. It's not like Black America is going to turn into dust as if Thanos just snapped his fingers. You will technically still be here. The only difference is your lives will be politically governed by whites, Hispanics, and Asians. That's all. And if you're cool with that, then carry on as you are. But if you're not, then we need to get serious about taking over local politics while we still can. We need to get serious about raising up our own grassroots candidates to run for office while we still can, so we can replace the Jim Clyburns of the world. And we need to get serious about hopping on and riding the fourth industrial revolution wave while it's still relatively in its infancy. We have to get our tech skills up. Now, the link to this article will be in the description box below, and this article is titled, A Guide About Top IT Skills in 2022. I'll leave you with this little gem right here. Gartner predicts that by 2024, 65% of all software development activity will be low code. Low code application platforms like Mendex, Quixie, and Microsoft Power Apps are alternatives to complex modern software development tools. Low-code platforms require little programming knowledge and a tech mindset to develop simple business applications. Since building software requires careful design and maintenance, low-code platforms can be a lifesaver for managers, marketers, and any user without developer skills that can create and update a code base without the risk of breaking anything. Thus, low-code development allows to relieve IT departments and save on IT outsourcing. Like I said, if you want to read this article, I strongly suggest that you do, and you pass this article on to as many people as you possibly can, and I will make sure to leave the link to that article in the description box below. Brothers and sisters, we still have a little bit of time left, but the end is fast approaching. So let's not squander it on unproductive behavior. And with all that being said, that does it for today's video. So please make sure you hit the subscribe button as well as the bell notification next to the subscribe button so you can be notified whenever I release a new video. All social media links will be pinned in the comment section below. Please make sure you text tdhiphop to number 33222. That's tdhiphop to number 33222. That way you'll get a direct text notification whenever I release a new video, but it also serves as a protection plan for myself in case YouTube ever gives this channel the axe. I'll be able to send you a direct link to where you can find me next. And last but not least, for those of you who have a love and appreciation for the work that I put in on this channel, the number one way you can show your support is through Patreon. For only $3 a month, that will help put me in position to take TD Hip Hop Media off of YouTube. Remember, the goal is not to grow big on YouTube, but to grow independent of YouTube. And for those who have issues with joining Patreon, you could also hit the join button that's next to the subscribe button, and that way you can become an official channel member for as little as $3 a month as well. And lastly, if you have not already, please make sure you join the emailing list. There is no way that I can go independent of YouTube if I cannot take the audience with me. And the link to that will be pinned in the comment section as well. Thank you for your time, and until the next video, peace.